In this tutorial, we're going to talk about Photoshop custom shapes. Let's start out by going to Canvas and grabbing this one that says preset.csh. .csh is the preset abbreviation for custom shapes. You are not able to just open a custom shape. It will not do anything when you go to open it. It's good. Go to Photoshop, File, New. I'm going to go ahead and go to Print, grab a piece of paper, letter, landscape or portrait is fine, and Create. So custom shapes are on your toolbar at the bottom of the actual shapes. It's the one that looks kind of like an amoeba or a blob. So when you choose it, you get quite a few different options. You get the what is the feel, what is the stroke, how big is it going to be, and right here is what you want to see is the types of shapes. So default, you just have a few. If you hit the little gear, you'll notice you get all these other kinds down here as well. So there's quite a few already built in. I'm going to go ahead and choose Talk Bubbles. I'm going to say Append, which means add it to the end, and see how I get even more shapes to play with. So I'm going to go ahead and grab one of these Talk Bubbles. Click out here. And with a shape, you drag to create the shape. Right now it has no fill and no stroke. So I can go ahead and change the fill. And I can change the stroke to something else. And I can make the stroke a little bit wider so you can actually see what it looks like. So instead of it being like a stamp, you actually have to drag to create those custom shapes. Alright, I want to go ahead and go back to my history, go back to new, and it'll clear everything off. So what we want to do is go ahead and load a new custom shape. So we go to the drop down for shapes, go to our gear, and go to Load Shapes. And remember, we downloaded the one that said Free Set. So we say Load. And look at all the different things that we get as part of our free set. Custom shapes are a really easy way to create icon sets, to create something that you're going to use throughout your entire publication. So maybe you want to use this type of telephone as a way to let people know what the contact numbers are in your publication. So you can go ahead and create that. So they're kind of like clip art, but they're not. They do allow you to change them, stretch and play. So I've given you quite a few different custom shapes to play with. They're really fun for creating logos and coming up with different elements for that. So go ahead and load a few of your custom shapes. Now you might want to go ahead and create your own custom shapes. Let's go ahead and do that. Go back to new. Oh, I have to push enter so I can transform. Go back to new so I can drop everything I've got so far. So we can say we want to draw our own custom shape. So I'm going to go ahead, let's go to my polygon. I want to go ahead and draw a star, so I go up here to sides. Let's call it 20. And I'm not really worried about the fill because I'm really just making the shape. Well, I'll go ahead and make it black anyway to make it easy to see. So what I'm going to do is drag and pull and create this starburst. So it might be I want to create this starburst on multiple things throughout my publication. So one of the first things we need to do, you'll notice that it's made a different type of shape. It's made a live shape, and we don't want it to necessarily be a live shape for what we need it to do. So we need to go ahead and right click on this layer and go up to rasterize layer, which means turn it into pixels. So now it will not stretch the way it did before. Let's go ahead, grab our magic wand by quick selection and select just the edges. So you see how it's got the dancing ants around the outside. We then want to go to paths, paths on the tabs next to layers, and hit the hamburger menu. And you want this one that says make work path. And you can have 0.5, 1 pixel is fine, and say OK. So now you're going to see you've got a path around your shape. So let's go up here to Edit and Define Custom Shape. So we're going to name this Starburst. And then say OK. So I'm going to go back up here to New. I'm going to go down here now to my custom shapes. And when I go to find my custom shapes, look right there. That is my starburst that I just created as my custom shape. And it's completely filled in because my sample was completely filled in. So there's a lot of ways to make custom shapes. You can use a image, as long as you can turn it into a path. As soon as it has the path around it, you can turn it into a custom shape. So go ahead and try making one. That's all for this one.